my spaces. I think you see me. Flipping idiot John here. I am grabbing all these small dollies and I'm going to do some space organizing. So I'm going to grab these guys and I'm going to talk you through it. Ooh, these are the good casters. So these are the ones I made myself. I just took this 5/8 plywood. So one problem is that the little screws are coming through, but I'm going to throw some cardboard on them if I need to. And I actually have some more plywood, some OSB in the car, oriented strand board. If you're not familiar with it, it'll show up later in my next probably live check-in. For some reason, I want to hang on to the worst furniture you could ask for and fix it up and make videos for you guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with those 4. Hopefully, I think I can stretch them out enough or make them work enough to do what I need them to do. Okay, I think I'm still live. I got a thing that popped up from YouTube. It said I need to have moderation or moderator. In here, I've got some hardboard and my giant brick separator. My new space, so I have a space here. It's a U-Haul facility, which has storage, and they kind of don't care if I do a little bit of touch-up from time to time and work on wood and put some stuff together. And so, and if I meet people and then I do the sales here. So I just go to loading area, which has been great because I'm in Minnesota. It's super cold, it can be super windy, super rainy, and even super hot. So it's nice to be able to meet somebody indoors. They can just back up and check out the furniture that I have. We do the financial exchange and then they just roll out and I help them load it. And that's why I keep lots of cardboard to help them protect the furniture actually as we load it into their vehicle. So I have a pretty healthy cardboard collection all the time. And I'm going to use some of it to store the really bad furniture at the other space. So think of this storage as the refrigerator, and then the other space is like a drop-in freezer where I have things on ice. I'm gonna grab some more for luck. Heck, I'm gonna grab a whole pile. So anyway, I think that's it. I need to keep moving because I need to actually clear out a garage space that I have a bunch of stuff in cold storage there. And I need to relocate that to a smaller, one from a 10 by 25 outside drive up, which makes it easy for lumber and heavier stuff to just kind of tip it in. But it's becoming more of a catch-all and it needs to go, I think. Far more civilized to be able to drive in, have carts available at the other space. It's enclosed. I use an elevator. It's not a big deal. That's a 10 by 20 with an electronic lock, and it's been pretty slick so far. Although a couple days ago, I used it so much moving stuff back and forth that I actually killed the battery that releases the latch. And so I took some stuff over yesterday morning, and the door wouldn't work, which makes an electronic lock less convenient. So call me crazy, but they said there's another way to unlock it with a Motorola app. So I'm going to talk to them about that. So in case you do get an e-lock space with public storage or whoever, just kind of be aware of how the backups will work and what their time is to get somebody from the office or from the home base to unlock your stuff. So, like I said, I think that's it. I thought I had more carts with wheels, but I actually have stuff on the wheels right now. And so I was going to make some, but rather than take time away from today of actually physically emptying out my drive up space, I'm just going to see how far I get with this, and then you'll see in my next live post, which will be in a few minutes, when I jump to the next space. Yeah, you might as well come with me. All right, giant lock in my pocket. It's the lock. I lost my spud. So things to consider. I'm going to use my tripod as a selfie stick. Things to consider that are real things. I've got a 10 by 15 now, and so that's about $250 American, if you're watching from overseas. I'm about 2/3 of the way down. There's the front or the loading area. It can be kind of a long walk, so I have spaces that are about that far away, but I have them towards the front of the facility. So one thing I need to figure out is if I want to try and squeeze stuff back into my 10 by 10, if I can get all the extra stuff into the other business. So it's about this space we were just in is about 2/3 of the way down. And so you got to think about your walking time, especially on hard concrete if you're not young like me, and just the amount of time you spend walking back and forth. The other thing, though, it might be handy is if you're flipping furniture and you want to try, scraping the finish off something and using a vacuum during business hours, at least. Probably better luck if you get the 24-hour access, if that's possible, or after the office people go home. But if you're in a financial pinch and you're trying to flip furniture in a hurry and you just gotta work in your space, the people here have been pretty cool about it. So, and then I don't come in here and I'm not spraying enamel. It's not like I'm doing auto body work, but it's a bigger space. It's a kind of a benefit to be in the back. I think I picked out a space that also has good. I'm going to show you. There's some windows here. It's an older facility that U-Haul took over. So there's some natural light there. And so I'm hoping that if I do some videos or I put something together, that natural light is actually going to reach my space and help me out for shooting purposes. It's handy to have a space closer to the front, but it's not necessarily a trade-off. I'm just going to see how, rather than have two 10 by 10 spaces, we'll go up in the front and I'll show you, but rather than have two 10 by 10 spaces, it's $180 a space now, American. And so that's $360 a month, which sounds like a lot, but honestly, if you're flipping furniture and if you're finding the furniture and it's kind of maybe a tough nut to swallow to think, wow, I'm going to be, I don't have any money now and I need to put $300 into a space. The U-Haul I'm at, they'll give you a first month free. So if you can find the furniture, so I'm in Minneapolis and there's all kinds of stores. There's Marketplace on Facebook. There's Craigslist. People, like, every week, people sell really nice stuff for a third of what it might be worth to flip. That may not need any work. You don't have to take all the hardware off. You don't have to paint it. I mean, I like doing some of that stuff, and there's some 1970s furniture is great for that, because it's so chunky and it looks good with paint on it and it's solid. But in the place I'm at, what I find is I find the stuff, it needs a little bit of work. Where I really do well is if I go to a thrift store and I find a nice dresser that has like a broken rail, and so the drawer is flopping around like a fish when you pull it out. And so, if they're all flopping around like that, it has to be a pretty nice dresser for me to take that on. But if it just needs like one or two rails, or it's just a really really nice piece, generally they if they're built well and they're quality furniture, they don't all break at once. Otherwise, people kind of just throw that in the trash rather than giving it to a thrift store. And so I'll find that stuff at a lower price in the thrift store. And then I have, if it's Habitat for Humanity, they do a coupon program where there's a discount where I'm at. If you have thrift stores, you can look into points where you're building those up. The other one is Habitat. There's Habitat for Humanity has the program, and other places they may just give you like credits. If you buy enough stuff, you get, I don't know, $5 off 100, and so every little bit helps if you're kind of starting out or things are slow, especially in winter months when people aren't moving or buying stuff. And so there's definitely a seasonality to flipping furniture. You're gonna have people putting nice stuff out on the curb in the spring like crazy, and so that will actually take us back to storage space. So these are a 5 by 10 here. You could put 2 or 3 tall dressers in here. If people are giving them away for free, if they're nice enough that they don't need any work, but they're a little ugly, you sell them for $100 a piece. That's $300, and if you can turn them over in a week, that's $300 a week. That's rent money, um, or roommate money, and gas money, and that's like $80 for that space. And so, it pays for itself in the first week if you're finding the stuff. If you're in a smaller town where there's just less furniture, then it's more complicated. But honestly, um, it's kind of like rent. Um, my brother moved to Coos Bay, Oregon, and what he found was the rent was really high. And what we figured out, just between us dummies, is we live in a town where there's a lot of colleges, a lot of schools. There was a lot of people working at flour mills here like 100 years ago. And so they built up all these apartment buildings. But in a new town like Coos Bay, Oregon, they didn't build any apartments. And so a lot of people are renting rooms, but you don't have tons and tons of apartments. Like we have streets here, Minneapolis and St. Paul, right next door. That's where they call it the Twin Cities. You'll have these, all like there's cubes on almost every corner where they have 8 spaces or quadplexes, eightplexes where people are living. But anyways, um, if you're in a small town, you might be able to get much more money, is what I'm saying. And so, it might be worth the time to get a like 1970s super chunky dresser, take the hardware off, find new hardware if it's worth it, and then sand it down, paint it, and then just totally update it. If it's like a big gnarly brown, you can dress it up. Or the other thing is a lot of my I, I'm saying this live, but um, a lot of the stuff, the advice I give is, if furniture is expensive, you don't have a lot of money, you just bought a house or you got your first apartment, and you want to have nice stuff, but you don't know how to fix it up, how to improve it. Something's broken. I put out a lot of videos about how you can do stuff with or without certain power tools. Using hand tools to their greatest effect. I say with hand tool work, it's 50% of it's sharpening work. It's not. It's like keeping the hand tool sharp so that it works. But going back to the spring thing and the seasonality of flipping, what you're going to find is that in the spring, it's going to be gangbusters. People are going to put out nice furniture on the doorstep. I mean, I've found stuff just driving around that I brought home, sanded it down, cleaned it a little bit, and then sold it for a couple $100. So people are literally leaving money out on the street. And so that is the time where if you've really been nervous about taking money and putting it into rent and being concerned that what if I fill up a space with 4 or 5 dressers, I'm paying $150 a month in rental. And then you have to figure out the logistics. You have to either know somebody with a truck or a van. You have to be able to move it, or you need to be able to rent a vehicle to move it. So that's one thing about flipping is I have a Ford Escape, and it's a good size. It's a 2013, and so it moves the longer dressers, the 9 drawers, effectively. But if you build that into the cost, you just and if they don't want you selling on the property where you're renting and you don't have any other rental options, what you can do is you can offer delivery, and then if the people don't buy it, or have them come look, and then if they give you the thumbs up, you go ahead and deliver it, and if they totally change their mind, just be cool about it. Your business essentially, and then just tip it back into the vehicle and be prepared to take it back if necessary in case the deal falls apart. Deals are going to fall apart. People are going to show up and not like it. I've had people show up for really nice furniture, but it's mid-century modern was a style where they kind of put a box on skinny legs, and you lose a lot of space on the bottom with those legs. And so um, people show up and they go, "Oh my goodness, this six-drawer dresser hardly has any space in it. The drawers are this deep, and they can't put all their pajamas in it." Whatever. So it's not their fault. It's just the style. Be aware of it. If you're selling boxy furniture, that's actually one way to kind of get somebody to buy some of the just like plain Jane furniture. Is it's more practical. So a lot of people buy that stuff for like Airbnbs or guest rooms or extra rooms like that, where they're not going to see it every day. They just need somebody, if they've got relatives that visit, or a son that's moving back or something. I call those dude dressers. So when you just like there's a woman who has a young man in her life that needs him to put his socks and underwear inside something rather than sitting on a chair. That's a dude dresser. So, anyways, I got to get going. I'm gonna head this way, and then I'm gonna stop being live for, I don't know, about 15 minutes while I throw this stuff in the car, and then or SUV, whatever you want to call it, sport ute, spoot. And so, anyways, I got to go to my exterior space. I got to grab some stuff there as long as I'm going to the other building. And then I'm going to mobilize all the really lousy furniture that I let get beat up when I had it sit in my driveway under tarps like a dummy. I'm going to put that on the carts that I picked up, and I'm also going to attach some OSB boards. You're going to see it'll make more sense when I shoot in the video. So I'll be live doing that, and then I have to bring in two carts full of new lumber work that got stuck on the carts and got pushed into another space by the management when their electronic door lock, when the battery died. And I couldn't get it into my space first thing yesterday morning. So, anyways, thanks for watching. And for whoever wants to tune in, I'll be live again in like half an hour. All right, thanks. If I can figure out how to turn it off without the gloves.